Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jade and in this video I want to share with you the 10 reverse cultural shocks that I had while going back to Mexico on a 2-month trip at the end of last year, that is in 2021. I will put all of the timestamps in the description below if you want to check those out, but without further ado, let's just get started. And just so that we all understand what has happened. So if you're new to my channel, I have been living in Finland for about 11 years now, almost 11 years now. And so during the past 3 years actually, I wasn't really able to go visit Mexico for several reasons, being the biggest one, the pandemic and the difficulties that really brought to traveling. And yeah, so basically, the long story short is that in 3 years, I really wasn't able to go to my country, and I just had the opportunity to visit there last year, in the end of last year. So when I decided to go back to Mexico, I decided that I would actually take as long as I could to be there. So I booked a 2-month trip there, and it was shocking. It was shocking, and that's the reason that I am making this video. In all these 11 years that I have been living in Finland, I usually go every year, or I used to go every year. Then I used to go at least every second year, and all of a sudden life happened and I had a 3-year gap without visiting my country. And I think that when I visited regularly, maybe this cultural shock really didn't come so straightforward. But being in Finland already for 11 years and having this 3-year gap without visiting home, it really had an impact. And so the last 2 months that I was there during the last year, those were so impactful. I was so shocked in so many different ways. And some of those things were maybe a little bit bigger, some of those were a little bit smaller. So in this video, I'm actually going to share the 10 shocks, reverse cultural shocks that were not they were big, but not really that big. I have 3 that were incredibly big. And if you enjoy this video, I'm gonna go ahead and make the second video. But in this one, I just want to keep it a little bit fun, a little bit more chill, and let's not get into very deep things. But if you do enjoy this video, just let me know and I'll be happy to make the second part of the reverse cultural shocks. But let's just start it with number 1. And the first reverse cultural shock that I had, it really came with when I had to pay for stuff. That was so weird, right? Because I coming from Finland, I have been just used that in Finland, everyone pays for their own things. I pay for my things, my boyfriend pays for his things, my friends pay for their things. So it's who pays, it's pretty clear. And when we go, for example, out with my friends or anything in Finland, and we have decided that, okay, we're gonna share the bill, then that's something that we have agreed beforehand, and we usually order things that we would share with each other. So this was one of the first bigger cultural shocks that I had when going to Mexico, because I have 2 examples. And these actually really just came when I went out partying with my cousins and some of my cousins' friends, because we were just drinking and having fun. I was ordering some things that were in an offer, and they order some things to eat. They order shots, and then when the moment came, the moment of paying, it was okay, so this is the how much we need to pay, and we will just divide it by 4. And I was why? These are my drinks. So when they divided the amount in 4, they told me this is how much you have to pay. I was why? First of all, I didn't order those shots. Second of all, I didn't order that food. So why should I pay for something that first I didn't order, second I didn't eat/drink? And I mean, to be honest, at the moment, that was such a huge shock for me, because it just seemed, from a Finnish perspective, that just seemed really awkward. Why are you doing that? From from a Mexican perspective, it's like, well, you know, like what's really the big deal? And honestly, like just looking back at it, I felt just so ridiculous because we were talking about literally like 5 euros extra that I would like need to pay for things that I didn't consume. So really, it was not such a big deal, like 5 euros. Nada. So I don't know why I was making like a big deal, but just at that moment, because this kind of like agreement or this way of dividing the cost really caught me like out of the blue. I was just like not prepared to handle that. And I just felt like really protective, like, I'm gonna pay for what I consume. Like, why are you trying to make me pay for things that I did not consume? When we went out from the bar, I just felt so ridiculous. I was like, hey, listen, I'm just gonna pay for the Uber back or the taxi that we took back, because honestly, I felt ridiculous. I was like, Hade, you're being very ridiculous. You're being very protective. You are not in Finland, you are in Mexico. Girl, you gotta get it. And I was so happy that that actually happened in the beginning and that happened with my cousins, because later on I actually went out with my friends and I was just more chill about like what to pay. Like with all of the other times that I went partying, it was like, okay, well, I'm gonna put this much, I'm gonna put this much. And people just like put with like as much as they could or that they could cooperate. And they were like just really open about it, not really like very specific of who pays what. So I was in a way like grateful that that happened really in the beginning and that happened with my cousins, because that made the rest of my stay like quite chill. But it just like really felt a little bit awkward. That also felt a little bit awkward when I was doing like some things with like my aunt and with my parents, because like with my aunt, like we were participating in, like my aunt, she makes these kind of like rituals and healing sessions and all these kind of like really nice things where you like cleanse yourself. She has like really amazing friends that they kind of like come together and then do all of the things. But the thing is that, and they were so nice, they did like so many things for me, but they wanted to do it for free. And, you know, again, from a Finnish perspective, I was like, for free? Like, no, like, I don't feel this is fair. Like, I really want to like compensate in a way. It's not like I am just the nephew of my aunt and that's why we do it for free. It just didn't feel right. And I really had to understand that somehow that was right there. And I was like, okay, well, I guess in exchange, I'm gonna make human design readings, and we make like this type of exchange. But, you know, my human design readings that I do as part of my business, like I take money for them, like they have a price. And when you like change it to Mexican pesos, it's like, it's maybe not what's the like normal type of money managed in Mexico, or the normal like price tag that's like managed in Mexico. So like really just like going around this process of accepting things for free and giving my services for free, and somehow understanding that when you are like between friends or people that know each other, like you kind of like exchange things for free. That was a little bit like weird. Like, I didn't know how, like, I guess like I just had to like understand it, but that was like really, really weird. Also coming from being like fully financially independent in Finland for now the past 3 years of my life as well. It felt also very awkward, like just going to my parents' house and then just like really accepting that they just like paid like some things. Like I felt so uncomfortable not being able to contribute to the house. So there were like certainly things like, you know, if I was gonna like invite my parents out, then I wanted like to pay for that. Or if I wanted, you know, to get these extra things because I just wanted to from the supermarket, then I wanted to pay that myself. Or like, yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like as a 27-year-old independent, financially independent woman that was going to spend like 2 months at her parents, like somehow I really like, I liked to be pampered and just like be taken care of by my parents. But then on the other hand, I really felt like, you know, I'm not a kid anymore and I really do not need them to like cover for my expenses. Like it just didn't feel like quite all right. So that was also like a shock that I had. I don't know, have any of you like had these sort of like feelings when you go to visit to your parents' home? Let me know in the comments. So that was one of the biggest shocks, and this took like so long just to share. So I think that this was one of the biggest ones. So I'm going to just go with less time consuming ones. So moving forward to shock number 2, and that was like when I drank coffee and I would ask for milk. So in Finland, like I learned how to drink coffee in Finland. In Mexico, I used to drink a lot of like lattes and cappuccinos and mochachinos and all those things, but actual coffee, like regular coffee, I learned how to drink it in Finland. And in Finland, you drink it like either with sugar, with milk, or with cream. I usually take mine with milk. But it's like regular milk. Maybe you can call it like coffee milk, but that is it. And then there's like the cream milk. So when I go to Mexico and I have this like Americano or this like normal coffee, like the regular type of coffee, and I ask for milk, like in Mexico, you do not drink coffee with milk. You get the coffee and you get like the cream, or then you get this kind of like Coffee Mate powder. That's also like cream. But they don't give you milk. Like like I went to so many restaurants, and when I was visiting like some of my family members, they would like bring me like was it Coffee Mate? I think like the powder version, or then they wouldn't like bring me anything, and I'm like that. I felt like that was so weird. Like just like regular milk. Like can you just like put regular milk to the coffee? I know that a lot of people feel that like milk will just ruin your coffee. If you are that type of person, I'm so sorry, preferences. But I just really felt like very weird because in Finland, there's always like milk and cream. And I was just like so weirded out because I always take my regular coffee with regular milk. And I just couldn't get regular milk. I had to order kind of like separately and ask like, no, I don't want cream. I want like milk. So I think that was like quite funny. So moving up to cultural shock number 3, reverse cultural shock number 3, that was actually like when you are eating in restaurants and when you are, or like just in places, it doesn't have to be restaurants, when you're just like eating in a certain place in Mexico and you finish eating and you are like, you already paid your check and you are like going out from the place or just like leaving the street place where you're eating. The moment that you're leaving, if there's another person eating or if there's another like group of persons like leaving, as you go out, you say something that I don't think there's even an English translation. You say provecho, or you say like buen provecho or something like that. And that basically just means that, you know, you're leaving and you are sort of like wishing the other person to enjoy their food or to keep enjoying their food. And that was like so weird because obviously like that's not done in Finland. Like you eat your stuff and then when you're ready, you just like leave quietly, peacefully. So I didn't really realize, like, cause in Mexico, I went a lot of times to just eat by myself because I just missed so much Mexican food that you could always find myself like, you know, breakfast outside, lunch outside, dinner outside. Of course, not when my mom like made food for home because obviously I love my mom's food. But usually like I would just be eating out a lot of times. And when I was alone, I was just like, okay, I pay my check, I leave. And then there was this one time when I was like going out to eat with one of my cousins, because the thing is that I did quite a few things with my cousins because I spent 1 week at my aunt's place. So we went out to eat, I don't know where, I think we were eating tacos or something. And then we were just like leaving, and then my cousin told to the other persons like provecho. And I was just like, and then he told me like, Jade, like, why didn't you told like provecho for them? And I was like, right, it's rude. Like it's rude of me when I don't do that, right? It was like, yeah, obviously. And I was like, God, but I don't know for which reason that had just like kind of like a slip from my mind. So it was something that someone had to remind me so that it kind of like hit again back in my head, because I have just like fully, like, I don't know, it just didn't click. I was just like, I eat, I leave. no provecho whatsoever. So reverse cultural shock number 4, and it was actually also something that I lived with my cousin. And there was this one time when we were going to visit our grandma. And in order to get to the my grandma's place, we took the metro, and then we took also like a bus that would leave us like near to the house where my grandma lives. And so we took the bus, like this kind of like a small bus, collective bus. And as we were going to we got into the bus, I paid for my trip. And I said yeah, hi, and I gave the money, he gave me my change. We waited in the bus, and then as I was just going down from the bus, I just shout to the to the bus driver oh, thank you. And I went away. I went down from the bus. I exited the bus. And my cousin, the chauffeur, the bus driver, he shouts back to me well, no problem, it's fine. De nada in Spanish. And just as I was walking away with my cousin, he was Kade, that's so weird. Why are you thanking the bus driver? And I'm that's actually so rude. Why you didn't say hi? Why you didn't say thank you when going away from the bus? And he's Hade, we don't do that in here. And I was seriously? And I mean, these were just very, very small things. But in Finland, a lot of the people just say good morning or hi when they go into the bus. And a lot of people, they always shout kiitos or kiitti to the bus driver when they go down. So I always say kiitos when I go away. I exit the bus. So I did the same in Mexico, and it seems that that's not something that you do. So I stopped doing that, but I was that's so weird. Why you don't say thank you afterwards? Okay, so cultural shock number 5, and this is the tipping culture. And I mean, I didn't completely forgot about it. I just feel that I really forgot in how many different situations you are tipping people. Because, when it comes to the tipping culture, I myself have been a waitress in Finland, and I have noticed that here the tipping culture doesn't exist. Now it has increased more with the time. So going back to Mexico, I knew that, okay, well, I didn't remember it immediately, but they say okay, would you like to tip? So they actually tell you that in the restaurants or in the places where you go. And I was yeah, of course, I have, of course I always want to tip people. So I always give tips in the restaurants, but then I think I really forgot in how many situations you actually have to give a tip. If you go to, let's say a mall, and you go to the parking place, and then you are let's say you do your shopping, and then you come back. The moment when you are going in your car in reverse, there's this guard or this person that normally it's looking the cars, and he goes with he goes and he tells you yeah, come on, it's free, you can go in reverse. And he basically kind of acts as a person that ensures that you are having a smooth going away from the mall or from whatever parking spot you are having when it's usually in a mall or in a supermarket or whatever. And usually you say okay, thank you, you take your window down and you give money. So that's you also tip because the person told you that, come on, there's a freeway, or they stop the other car so that you can actually come out from your parking spot with ease. Then also if you go to the supermarket and the person that's packing the stuff for you, then you also have to tip for them, to give something. Or if you are then in the streets, and then there's a person that comes with a bottle with soap and water and starts washing your car windows, then they also expect a tip. There's just I really, really, truly forgot how many smaller things people can do. Maybe if you are in a shopping center and then you are having maybe big bags or something, there's people that will offer you hey, can I maybe put the things into your car? And then they expect a tip for that. So I kind of forgot really in how many different situations you just have to tip. And maybe that was like a lesson for me to actually like really carry with me like different coins, so that I would just like reach to my purse and just be like, okay, coin, coin, coin. But the amount of coins that you could like give in a day, it was a significant amount of times. And I mean, I have nothing against tipping. I just really like forgot how much tips you would be giving on a day. Like if I would be like on a day where I would like to go out and go shopping and going from place A from place B, sometimes I could like really spend something like €5, €4, €3 in tipping. And you might say like, Hade, that's nothing. But yes, add that in a daily basis, like in addition to whatever things you are like buying, and well, that starts like gathering up, isn't it? And with this, I can go to reverse cultural shock number 6, and that is the sales street persons. Like, I don't really know how to call them, but they are like salespersons that they are just in the street. And this is something that I just really felt that it was almost annoying at some point. And the thing is, but that I couldn't really like, I could almost feel annoyed, but also it was really, really hard for me to be mad at it, just because I really have an understanding of what is the situation in Mexico. And I have always been like very aware how there's like, you know, very big difference when it comes to social classes. And I know that Mexico has, well, a lot of poverty. So I know that there's a lot of people that just go out in their everyday, you know, basis to try to earn the money for food or try to earn the money for living. And so what I would find is that there's a lot of people that just sell things in the streets. And this can kind of like maybe a little bit be related to the past cultural shock, where I was talking about, you know, you driving your car, and then maybe like there's this person that comes and it's like, you know, washing your windows, and you really have to tell to the person like, hey, no, because otherwise like they would just go and then they are like, where's the money? And obviously, like, you can always say like, I mean, I told you no and not give anything, but usually like they would go and be like, where's the money? And so similar to that, I found like a lot of times they are just like people that are just selling in the streets. And I mean literally like selling in the streets, that maybe like you are just like walking and the person comes like near to you just to tell you like, hey, would you like to buy this sandwich? Or hey, like I have these like flowers, would you like to buy flowers? And the thing is that they really like come to you. And sometimes they just come and you are like, okay, well, no, obviously I'm not interested to buy X or Y thing that you are like offering. But there's like a lot of people that maybe are selling like cookies or some sort of bread or something. And they really just like come to you, but like so in such a, how can I say, in such a like harsh way that they are almost like, you have to buy from me. And then there were really like points where I felt like, I am sorry, but like, why? Like, I understand that there's a lot of people that might just be in need and that do this as a work because they need to take money to their home. But like, how is that my fault? Like I understand, I tip in the restaurants, I tip to the persons that are like helping me doing X, Y, or Z. When there's a thing that I really like, you know, I could use or I could buy, like sure thing, I can really like buy those things. But just like really thinking that I am not a rich person, at least not yet. I wish I could be a rich person someday in the future. But I am not rich now. Like I get paid per hour, and I like, at least at that point, like it's not like I was, you know, like swimming in like countless mountains of money. Like no, that was not the case. Like sure, I had money for my trip, but like I was not just like throwing money to the air. So if you think about the tips, and then if you think about like all these persons that really just come to you and that they are like, can you buy this? Like, would you buy this? Do you want this? It's like, well, how is that my fault? And why should I just like, you know, if I am just going to the mall or if I'm just going to the city center to eat some tacos or some quesadillas, like why I cannot do that in peace without someone just like approaching me and being like, okay, do you want to buy this thing? And I don't know, like personally, I don't know if that's the Finnish side of me, but I just felt that was like really annoying at times. I tried to understand it and I tried to be like as supportive as possible, but that really got me mad at some point. Also, especially because there's not just the people that want you to buy things from them. There's also the people that literally don't want you to buy like anything. They're just playing, can you give me money? And sure, I give money to like 2 or 3 persons that I found that just really approached me like, hey, I have not eaten. Can you give me money? And I was like, okay, well, like, I mean, if you have not eaten, like, obviously I like, you know, whenever I had the money, I would give it. But then as I started counting, it's like, okay, I gave this person, let's say I gave this person 2.5 euros. And then I gave another person another 3 euros. And then it starts like amounting. So that's something that personally with the time I start just feeling like annoyed, because I consider myself to be from the like middle lower class. And the fact is that I have all of the financial resources to have a comfortable, relatively comfortable life. But like I have made like a very big effort to be where I am. So like what really like messes up with my head, and I really don't know if I am like right or wrong thinking in this way, but I am like all these persons, I know that they are like, you know, fighting and doing the best they can so that they can like bring some food and some money to their home. But I just feel like, you know, sometimes I feel like being in the middle class, it's kind of like less privileged. Because when you don't have like money, or when you maybe don't have a job, then you just go, you make some like sandwiches, you make something and you go out to the streets, and then you just try like to sell those things. Or even sometimes people don't, like there's actually like this is a real thing, like there's people that go up into the buses and that they are like, hey ladies, like I'm actually like coming here to ask you for money, like, you know, like I'm not doing anything bad to you, I don't plan to rob you, I don't plan to, you know, do X or Y, but I just want like, if you have like a good heart, some extra coin that you can just like give me. And I'm like, hey, like there was a point where like that happened like so frequently that I almost felt like, oh my God, how easy, like just, you know, like then it almost made me feel like it's easier to just like not have money, because then if you don't have money, you can just go around the city just asking for it. Sometimes just like selling something, or sometimes even like just, you know, like, do you have a coin? Like I haven't eaten today, so just give me a coin. And I really don't want to come as very, you know, I'm not having a heart, because I really, really gave a lot of money to all those persons that were asking for it. But there's a moment when I really started to be unfair, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But I'm thinking like, if I am living here, if I wouldn't be earning in euros, if I would be earning in pesos, and I would constantly like just find these people that are constantly asking for the same thing, I don't know. I really personally start having certain feelings about it. And that's like, you know, people asking for money, that's something that you will not see in Finland. So I really felt like, what's going on here? But yeah. Reverse cultural shock number 7. And that is scheduling meetups. I will not spend too much time in this, but I just found that it was like so funny, because in Finland, everything gets scheduled. Like if I am gonna meet with my friend, then there's usually like, okay, I already know that I will meet her next weekend, or I will meet her for like a coffee on Tuesday at 5. Like there's always this like planning. And you sort of like, I feel that you really are kind of like respecting the other person's, you know, time by scheduling things up. And sometimes like you of course can be spontaneous and just, you know, I have friends that I have maybe just given a call and be like, hey, what are you doing? Like, do you want to go for a coffee with me? And sometimes we are able to like plan things on the last minute, but that's always just understanding that the person might say yes and the person might say no, may say no. And I had like such a huge cultural shock when I was going back to Mexico, because people don't respect each other's time. People don't, like, I'm not generalizing like for all Mexicans. Obviously there's exceptions, so please don't generalize all Mexicans. But I felt that it was generally very common that you agree on a certain time and then the person's late. And I'm not telling like late 5 minutes, late 10 minutes. It would be like, oh, I'm just like late for half an hour. Or then it would like, sometimes it would even be that you agree to meet this person at this time, and then they would just like not appear. And then just say like, yes, I'm coming. Yes, I'm coming. And they would like just not appear. Or I would have like some other times where I'm trying to schedule like XYZ activity with some friends. And then I would be like, hey, what about if we meet today in the evening? And they would just tell like, yeah, let's see. Okay, I asked that in the morning. So, okay, let's see. Then I would say like, okay, so do you think we can meet in the evening? Maybe at midday. Oh, I don't know, like, let's see. Then I would like, message like at 5 p.m. like, hey, are we gonna go out in the evening? I'm not sure, like, I'll let you know. I didn't have words. Like, I felt that was like so awkward. And of course I got used to it, but I was just like, that's like so awkward. There was like just a point where I just like literally just gave up. And sometimes, when my friends would just like message me in the evening and say like, okay, now let's go out, I would be like, sorry, I'm already in pajamas. Or sometimes they would say like, okay, let's go out. And I'll be like, well, but I'm not gonna dress up because I had already, taken my makeup away, or I actually like didn't prepare for us doing this. So I'm just not gonna do it. And that's not actually like, I understood that that's really like not coming from a bad intention, but I just feel like people are just like so like flexible with their time, and so like not used to scheduling things, that I don't know, it felt weird. Like I got used to that, but that was not something that I would like, personally prefer in my everyday life. I like to have things scheduled. I'm always willing to be flexible in today if I have like the free day, but it just felt really awkward not really having the certainty that, okay, is something going to happen like today, or is it not gonna happen? Because I just feel like I couldn't really trust what we had agreed on. But then also that really gave me the permission to sleep. Like in Finland, if I agreed that, okay, I have promised that I would like meet this person or do this or do that, like most of the time, if I am in Finland, I feel that much more of a commitment that I need to respect that because that's what we have agreed. So very few times I actually end up canceling, unless I have like a very, very big reason to do so. But in Mexico, like, I guess like after the first like 3 weeks where I really like got into the mood and understood that, okay, everyone's doing as they please, then it also became like just so easy for me that even if I would say like, okay, we're like, I'm gonna do this, then that was like a huge permission slip for me to be like, well, maybe I say yes now, and maybe like ultimately in the end, it's like a no. And I don't know, I got definitely used to it, but that was something that was like so weird. So you can see it like in both ways. Cultural shock number 8, and these were all of the commodities and the cold like that I had in Mexico. And this is something that maybe will sound like almost like mind-blowing, because every single person told me, Jade, you are coming from Finland. How can you tell me that you are cold? But I can swear to you guys, I have never, ever, ever, ever felt in my life as cold as the last 2 months that I was in Mexico. And let me give for context, because obviously I had lots of sun and it was sunny and it was warm and it was beautiful. But the thing is that, just for context, in Finland, all houses have an incredibly good heating system. So no matter the time of the year, okay, maybe in the summer it gets like too hot within the houses, especially with the very, very hot summers that we've had in the past 2 to 3 years. But usually like it's always warm. During the summer, it's naturally warm. It can get even like a little bit too warm inside. You just have to open the windows and pray that mosquitoes don't come inside. But generally it's very warm. And during the winter, it doesn't matter if there's like 5 degrees outside. It doesn't matter if there's like 10 degrees outside. It doesn't matter if there's like minus 30 degrees outside. My room temperature, it's always 22, 21 degrees. So when I went back to Mexico, like houses are entirely different. And something that in Finland I was just so used to, so always being in a 21, 22 degrees atmosphere and always having like a warm floor, or at least if it's not warm, it's like a not cold floor. In Mexico, it was mind-blowing. I was going in November, December, so it's the time where it's already like colder. And like, especially in the place where I live in Lerma, which is located in Estado de Mexico, so Mexico State, in Mexico. So it's kind of like, it's a little bit like it's in a higher place. So it's like more cold. And it gets warm during the day, but especially in the morning and during the night, like it can get to like 0 degrees, minus 1 degrees, 3 degrees, but with the difference that if outside it's like minus 3 degrees, 5 degrees, 6 degrees, that's the temperature you also have inside your home. And holy, holy, holy moly, like what the F? I was frozen. I was freezing. I was wearing shoes and jackets and like scarves. I was freezing. Like I have never felt that cold in my life. Like the fact that I woke up and the moment that I take my blanket off, it's like I feel cold and I have to put a jacket. I was like, what is this? Like, what is this? Like I really had to like push myself to get out of my home, to somehow like get dressed up feeling like this cold and push myself out of my home, because maybe if it's like already midday, then the temperature might already be like 20 degrees outside under the sun. But the thing is that especially the house where I live, it doesn't get the sun. So it takes like longer time to get warm. So literally like I was like so many days, so many weeks, just having cold from the morning to like the 11 a.m. So I really like may start making of a routine that I would just go out of my home, but because I just could not stand the cold. The fact that I was like always cold inside in the mornings and during the nights, it was crazy. I had to get a heater and I had the heater on. I actually like just gave some money to my mom for electricity because I was like, I just cannot potentially be in a place that it's like this cold. So I had the heater during the entire night, and like a lot of times during the morning, first thing that I did, like put the heater on because it was just so cold and I cannot explain it. Like, yes, I come from Finland, but in Finland, you're only cold when you're outside. And during the winter, like the bus is warm, the schools are warm, like my home, it's warm, the restaurants are warm, like every other place is warm. So you only suffer the cold when you are out. And immediately when you're in, you don't have to wear jackets. You don't have to wear the scarf. You don't have to wear the gloves. You don't have to wear the shoes because the floor is cold. So that was such a huge shock. Like I was so cold. And all of the other commodities that like I really found that I kind of like missed from Finland. It's just, you know, the clean water just coming from the tap. And I mean, truth to be told, like that never really bothered me while I was growing up in Mexico. But the fact that you have to, you know, always be buying the clean type of water or always putting more like water so that it goes through a filter so that you get like the clean water, that I felt a little bit like, okay, that's weird. And then the fact, like, I don't know, I guess like it's just like maybe my parents don't have the proper internet. But in Finland, even in these student apartments where I currently live, like even if they have like the slowest type of internet, it is a good internet. I have never had problems with my internet here. And while I was remote working from Mexico, from the house where my parents live, like I had so many issues with the internet. I was like, why? why I cannot have a proper internet with proper speed, with proper, functionalities. That was like the second thing. And when it really comes to commodities, like another thing that I noticed was just really like the warm water. Because in Finland, like you just like, the systems are meant that when I go to shower, no matter the time, I just put like warm, and there comes like warm water, and it can come like really, really hot water. And in Mexico, no, I had to like go and put like turn on the whatever machine makes the water feel warmer. So that was a little bit, and the warm water can actually like run out. Like, okay, if too many family members like maybe like had the shower at the same time, it's like, okay, like the warm water, it's over, or you have to wait until the water would like warm up. That was like so weird. And in terms of commodities, the last thing that I noticed was like all of the like circus that I had to do to actually get like a plan for my phone, because obviously I didn't have internet, I didn't have like a line when I went to Mexico. So I went to get my own line. And it was such a circus. Like I literally stayed there like 2 hours trying to open like a line for my phone. And I had to like give references. And it was such a huge process, when in Finland that it's like so like fast. And something that really blew up my mind was the fact that in Mexico, there's not anything like unlimited amount of internet. It's like, okay, so which package do I want? And I'm like, I don't know, like give me this package, but please make this package in a way that even if my data package that I am buying runs out, that like just charge me more or do something. Because in Finland, like when you buy your cell phone package, whatever package, like almost all, like I have never heard, unless it is prepaid, that you have a limit into how much internet can you use. So like that was really such a shock when I was in Mexico. I was like, what do you mean that I have a limit and then I can just run out of internet and not have internet? That was such a shock. Like why? Like why do people do that? Like why is there like a limit as to how much internet? Like that felt so awkward, because just for the past 10 years of my life, I've always enjoyed from unlimited amount of internet in my phone. So just having to choose a package, that just felt very weird. Reverse cultural shock number 9, and that is the discounts. Like something that I noticed actually, it's that in Finland, there's a lot of like days, and the stores have these sort of like celebrations where they would have like things in discount. So for example, a big store that we have like all over Finland, it's Sokos. And Sokos, for the people that are like members, they have like these kind of like membership days where they would have like everything, it's like minus 20%. Or then along the year, they would have things that, for example, there's the hair, like something like hair week, and like all her products are like minus 40%. Or they would have like these special days, like, okay, to like, from this day to this day, if you buy like any type of trousers, those will have like minus 20%. And I am talking like these discounts go on branded things. So it's not like, okay, like just this type of brands. It's like there are like really cool brands that you actually can get discounts from. So when they have like these like really big discount type of days, and I'm just telling Sokos because that's one of like the nearest examples that I have, but in Helsinki there's like another store called Stockman, and they also have like big type of discounts on different products and on different like branded products. And what I discovered going back to Mexico is like, like nice brands, they rarely have actual like bigger discounts. It's just like, okay, if you go maybe to Walmart, they say regular price, it's this one, and then like, promotion, it's this one. But actually like the promotion, it isn't that big. And the like nice branded type of products, they like rarely had any discount, almost at all had any discount. And I was like, that's funny, because in Finland, you usually would get or find at certain times of the year branded and very, very nice quality products that it would be like, they would go fully on discount. So I was a little bit surprised, like not really being able to find those type of discounts in Mexico. But yeah, the last reverse cultural shock that I had, and this is just gonna be super short just to end already this video, was the price difference And this really came specifically when it comes to clothing, because a lot of my clothes, I got them in Zara and in Bershka and in Mango. And when I went to Mexico, and I went especially like to Zara, like I wanted to get, I don't know why, but when I went to Mexico, I thought that I'm not gonna take lots of clothes so that I can both buy clothes from there. And I found that in Zara, Bershka, Mango, H&M, like almost in every single place, the price of the items were more expensive in Mexico than me buying them in Finland. And I was like, what? So, of course, you know, once I thought about it, I felt like, okay, it makes sense that some of the things are more expensive in Mexico because they have like, you know, to move the things there. But some of the things were really like, actually, they had like a very big price difference. Like some tops that I buy from Zara in Finland, like they literally cost me 5 euros. And when I was going to Mexico and I was making the conversions from like pesos to euros, that was like something that I would pay in Finland 5 euros for. In Mexico, I would pay like 9 euros for. So those were like type of like price difference that I was like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. So ultimately in my trip to Mexico, I ended up buying like really, really little clothes because it just turns out that I get it for a much cheaper price if I buy them straight in Finland than if I buy them in Mexico. So yeah, I thought this video would actually not go this long, but it did went. If you have watched up until this point and you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment if you feel like it. I think that far beyond these like 10 reverse cultural shocks, I had actually like 3 more reverse cultural shocks that were like more serious and really like more deep, like actually talking about them would also make like a very, very long video. Maybe not as long, but who knows? You know that all of my videos are like quite long. But I'm not sure, do I want to share that or I don't want to share that. So I just want to see how you guys like this video. Do you like when I share this type of things? And if you do, please let me know so that I can make the other part of the video. If this is something that you're like, okay, but not that interesting, then just also let me know so that I can also like start getting to know what type of content you enjoy the most for me. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!